Programmet presenteras av Untitled Bredband.
All right, Bethania Palma. You've arrived here last night.
I did.
So you're a bit jet lagged.
A little bit.
So let's be respectful to the jet lagged person. It's not easy being on a stage, jet lag. I just want to preface with giving a short insight about what Snopes is. Previously on stage we had Bengt af Klintberg. Now in the audience, Bengt af Klintberg is a Swedish folklorist. He's been studying Swedish folklore for many decades now, and writing about Swedish urban legends. And Snopes.com is a website that since the 90s have been doing the same for the internet. And the Snopes.com for me personally have been a very hugely important place to go to not only read the debunkings of very viral urban legends, but also learn up on why stuff is being shared. What with the stories is compelling to us? Why do we share it? And Bethania, you're sort of a symbol for what Snopes is adding. Snopes is adding a focus, which is news as well. So you're an investigative reporter who's now here in Sweden. And let's start off by asking, what are you going to do in Sweden?
Well, in the United States, I don't know if you guys are aware, but Sweden is very popular with a lot of media websites that make it sound like you guys have a war zone here. So I'm going to be interviewing quite a few people, including, I'm not sure how to pronounce it, Bro? Bro.
Yeah, Bro.
Okay. I'm going to interview them tomorrow morning to talk about statistics, and I'm going to talk to a police chief and a couple of officers in Malmo, and walk around Rosengard and see this war zone. And but basically, this is an opportunity that a lot of American reporters don't have, which is to come to Sweden and see for themselves and report firsthand. So that's kind of a new angle of fact-checking that we're going to be doing, is doing some first-hand reporting on these issues that are the subject of conspiracy theories and that type of thing. So
you could call it preemptive fact-checking, I guess.
You could call it that, but we have been getting a lot of readers asking us about, various incidents in Sweden that usually didn't happen. So,
and. While here, it might be interesting to compare it to another guy called Tim Pool, a freelance journalist who was here just a couple of weeks ago. He did a series of YouTube clips about the situation in Swedish suburbs, and he was accused of by some critics of being a parachute journalist. So in the way he was just dropped into a culture that was pretty foreign to him, and then trying to describe it in a way which, it tended not to make justice to what huge system Sweden actually is in a way. So are you afraid to, how are you going to work to not fall in the same trap? As journalists, we have to be very careful to very carefully source our stories. So I may not be Swedish, and I may be reporting as a person that lives in a foreign country, but I am going to do my best to do justice to the story by responsibly sourcing that story. So that's the way journalists operate, the way we should operate. Traditionally, yeah.
Traditionally is to get good and credible and a lot of sources.
Yeah, sure. Yeah. And so just an ordinary day for you at Snopes, what do you do?
A lot of times we'll start out by sorting through our mail. Our readers will send us inquiries through the mail, and we'll look at what is circulating. Because a lot of times we'll get a lot of inquiries based on there may be a viral story out there, and a lot of people are seeing it, and a lot of people will ask us about it. So if we have something that's popular in searches, we'll a lot of times we'll jump on that. If it's kind of like a random and all over the place, then we'll kind of take stories that we think we can do good reporting on, like what we know, subjects we know about. Like I used to work as a newspaper reporter, so I know government. So if there's something circulating that's related to government, a lot of times I'll just jump on it because I know the sources that I should call. So.
And Snopes is has a very big audience. and a huge reach in their fact checks. And something that we've when I was still working with Viralgranskaren, and something that the people at Viralgranskaren is still working with is, so sometimes you have a claim or a story that is getting viral, and it claims something outlandish, but the source is a site which is aggressive and you know, it almost feels dangerous in a way. The site might be a very extreme partisan political site that says that, you know, has an agenda which is often very aggressive. And so what we have to do is always ask ourselves, is it worth debunking this story if we have at the same time give this site a lot of attention by debunking it, because that could be used by the site as a way of getting a lot of attention and page views. Yeah. How are you thinking about it? What kind of considerations go into writing a story?
If we have something that's getting a lot of inquiries, that means that a lot of people are seeing it anyway. So we'll address it. If I see one email and there's only one email on a certain subject, and it's from, say, like some anti-Muslim or anti-Semitic or racist site that's trying to, you know, get their name out there, then I'm not going to give them a boost. But if people are asking about it, then it's out there anyway, and we might as well just take it on and debunk it or figure out what's factual and what's not factual, because a lot of times there can be a kernel of truth, but there's also a lot of non-truth, and like you said, they have an agenda. So,
do you point that agenda out if it stands out to you?
Yeah, sometimes it's obvious. I mean, in the United States, there's a website called, like, for instance, Bare Naked Islam. So you can imagine what they're not hiding what their slant is, you know. So, yeah.
There is, you could say, in debunking, it's a whole school, and how successful debunking what the successful debunking looks like, and how you do it. And something I noticed about the Snopes headlines, I'm going to read a few examples out to you. The first one is, did Bill Murray recommend eating children's ice cream to teach about taxes? Nope. Did John McCain solicit a campaign contribution from the Russian government? Nah, it was kind of half true, right?
Mostly false.
Mostly false. And then, of course, was Sweden rocked by a massive terror attack in February 2017? Let's ask the audience. It was not. What the theme of all those headlines is the question mark. It asks a question. Why is that?
We've been doing it that way recently because we're asking the same question that is being posed to us. We're just basically answering the question. When we get inquiries from readers, a lot of times they just basically reword a headline that they're seeing, and they all kind of reflect each other in this internet world. So usually the words that they use are similar or the same. So I think that's the clearest way to answer the question, is just to ask it ourselves in the headline, and then in the body of the fact checker story, just go ahead and answer the question that's in the headline.
Are you personally afraid that the headline will, if people don't click the actual link, are you personally afraid that it might just, for the people who've maybe not even seen the actual hoax, they might just see the question and then be like, oh, so that's an open question. I didn't know that was even a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, that's always a risk. People are always going to just read the headline and not read the story. That happens a lot. I kind of think that by leaving it as a question, they know that I'm hoping, I think that it gives them the tip-off that we're going to answer the question if they read the story. And the way Snopes format is we have our truth rating like at the top. So even if they don't read it, which I hope they do, but even if they don't, they can click on it and see, our conclusion. So. And
just tell me something about the process of writing a debunk, because in this age of information, I sometimes get the feeling that people seeing stuff on social media, no matter if it's an article or if it's just a blog post with someone's views, might kind of put the the energy that goes into writing both those articles on the same level. It's not like this is a lot of text. Why does this differ from that? And so just describe to me how much time goes into writing a debunk. If we say, for example, that the original hoax takes 1 hour to write.
Yeah, it's really easy to write a false claim because you don't have to do anything except for write some words. But to actually get factual information is a process. So when I look at a claim, a lot of times I'll see if it's already been written, because a lot of times what happens is they'll take, they'll take a Reuters story or Associated Press. Obviously, those are credible sources, but they'll take like the most salacious angle from those stories, and then they'll write something completely false based on that kernel of truth that they took out of that story. So I'll look and see, is this already addressed? But to actually address it, I mean, it's a process of reporting out a story, and that can take, an 8-hour shift, or it can take 2 shifts. It can take a week. So it's very time-consuming, and it's, it is a process. But yeah, it can take 30 minutes to write. Yeah, a false claim. Yeah,
it's you can become sick very fast, but then the healing process takes a lot of time.
Exactly.
I read an interview with Brooks Bankowski, which is your colleague.
Yeah, she's my supervisor.
Your supervisor, and she said something about the fact that there's now a lot more hoaxes directed towards the left, the liberals in the United States.
Yeah.
Have you seen that as well?
It seems like it, yeah. It does seem like it. I noticed it after Donald Trump was elected, and it just has become sort of a hysteria around that. And my theory about it is that, I mean, I don't know if it's true because it hasn't played out yet, but my theory is that because the liberals in the United States had the White House and had a lot of legislative power over the last 8 years, a lot of the aggressiveness was coming from the right-wing online media, and now that the conservatives have the legislative power, now I think the liberals are going to get a little crazy. So, because we've already seen, I've personally seen every time, a Russian diplomat, something happens to that Russian diplomat, they think Trump had a personal hand in that. So
you mentioned earlier that you've seen stories about Trump actually killing off Russians.
Yeah, there was a claim that he killed 8 Russian diplomats, and included in that claim was one man that was Ukrainian. He wasn't even Russian. So,
which is interesting because Hillary Clinton has there's rumors about her having killed off critics and people planning to spill the beans on her.
That's a very popular conspiracy theory. The Clinton body bags.
Yeah.
That Hillary Clinton and the Clinton family have murdered all the politically inconvenient people.
And now Trump is going to start murdering people as well.
Now we're going to have the Trump body bags, I'm pretty sure.
Is this depressing to you that the rumors that people, every team is as stupid as the other one? It's just a matter of who has the power.
Depressing? I don't think it's depressing. I just think it's human nature, especially now with the internet, because the problem with the internet is it can spread things very quickly. And anybody can have a blog, it doesn't take any special credentials to have a blog and write nonsense,
Sure.
So that's really launched it into a whole nother stratosphere. But I think people have always done that to a certain degree. I just think the degree to which it's done now has become very, very much amplified. So.
Well, the good news is that we have a lot of work to do.
Yeah, yeah, you could say that.
Bethania Palma.
Thank you.